In the repair shop today, there are snags to sort, as Tim...
That goes in the opposite way. Hang on, no, that's wrong. I've done that wrong already.
Steve...
Yeah, maybe I'm going to have to think about this a bit further.
and Mark
Polly,
are put through their paces.
It's like testing a microphone. 1, 2, 3.
First, however, Gita Diwan from London has brought a humble possession with lofty beginnings.
Hello.
Hello.
How you doing?
I'm fine, thank you. How are you?
Very good. I'm Jay. And you are?
Gita Diwan.
Gita. What have we got in the bag?
I got my father's leather wallet.
Oh, leather. Suzie,
Yeah?
do you want to join us, please?
Hello, it's lovely to meet you.
Can we see the wallet?
Yes. This wallet belongs to my father. He was a freedom fighter to get the India independence from British.
From the
Okay.
British rule.
Yes, British rule in 1939 to 1941.
Right.
How old was your father when he was a freedom fighter?
I think he must be in his 20s, possibly.
20s?
20s?
Yes,
That's
I
young.
would think so. Very young, very young. I mean, it was a big thing. Gandhi started all this.
Right.
He was going everywhere, and my parents used to join them. I mean, Britain didn't want India to be independent.
Of course not.
British soldiers used to grab all the people who were marching and,
Yeah.
demonstrating and everything, and put them in the prison. My father, he was imprisoned in stretch of 2 years. He was in and out. And one time he was in prison at the same time with Gandhi.
So it's like peaceful demonstrations
It was
then?
absolutely
Okay,
peaceful
okay.
demonstration. No. It wasn't like, riots or any of that.
Right.
No.
So I wonder what his community thought about him being put in prison and then coming out. I mean, did they rally around him and support him?
Oh, yeah, he was a hero.
He was a hero?
He was a
Okay,
hero
okay.
because he was fighting for India's independence.
Oh,
he was
okay.
treated as a hero, and
Yeah.
my mother was really respected person in the
Okay.
community because they were the freedom fighters.
So what did your father's parents think about his involvement being a freedom fighter?
My father was born in a very rich, wealthy family, and I think they thought it was a stupid idea of, not contributing to family business. He was kicked out by his father
Oh dear.
from the home. So my father and my mother left home, leaving behind all the luxury and they started their own life.
Right.
It was a big sacrifice, and they struggled. They really struggled in their life.
Yeah.
This represents the struggle,
Yeah.
history, and sacrifice.
Yeah. See how important it is.
After my father's death, my mother had used it
Okay.
with lovingly, and she used to say, "This is your father's. It's a really good memory, and
Yeah.
I'm proud that it's your father's." In her late 90s, when I visiting her,
Yeah.
she said, "I want to pass this on to you because you're a safe keeper
Yeah.
with the sentiments of history of family."
So there's a lot of family history wrapped up in that wallet.
Absolutely.
And also social history as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And have you used it?
I'm a bit scared to use it because it's worn. This is ripped
Okay.
as well.
Ah, it's a little bit tired.
Yeah.
It's tired, yes, it's worn out.
And do you want to use it?
Of course.
Okay.
Especially this year because it's 75
Oh,
years of
yes.
India's independence.
Okay, 75 years.
So I want to show it to everybody.
I feel quite proud to have it in it.
Yeah, I think it's amazing. I can't wait to get my hands on it and get it in a good condition for you.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Thank you.
All the best.
We have this pocket here. where the damage is, I'm going to go ahead and line this with a piece of zephyr that's going to give it immense strength, keep the flexibility there, and build my repair upon that application. My goal here is to repair this in a way that Gita will be able to open and close the flap of this wallet with confidence as she intends to use it.
The next visitor is Dominic Nasmyth-Miller from Suffolk. He has an unusual item that requires the joint ingenuity of electronics whiz Mark and ceramics queen Kirsten.
Hello there.
Hello there, good to see you.
I'm Kirsten.
Hello, Kirsten.
And I'm Mark.
Hello, Mark, lovely to see you. I'm Dominic.
So, what have we got here, Dominic?
This is Polly. Polly is a small China dog in a kennel that was made by my dad's granddad. And we think it was made at about 1945, that sort of timescale when my dad was a small boy.
Wow.
He made loads of things. One thing that he made, which we've never understood how it works, is a small brass box. And, well, the secret has remained hidden for, must be 70 years. It looks like there's hinges on the side.
Oh, goodness.
But if there's anything you can do to open the magic box at the same time, then that would be incredible as well.
So that's someone with a playful, curious mind, isn't it?
Exactly, and again, that fits with the way he's made Polly. And we think Polly is unique. We haven't seen anything else like her out there. When she was working, Polly would come out automatically.
Intriguing.
So when you said her name, with the emphasis on the P of Polly, and that would
No
then...
way. On her own? She just
on
popped
her
up?
way, on her way, sound waves.
She actually comes out just by sound.
By sound. We think she was a model of a dog that my dad had when he was a small boy. Polly was always there when I was a child. She was always on the side, and certainly up until about 1978, 1980, she was there. And yeah, you'd walk past and you'd say, Polly, and she'd come out of the kennel. And then several house moves and getting knocked about, she stopped working. My dad died in 96, and this is the link between me and my dad.
Mm-hmm.
What would you like Mark and I to do?
We'd love you to bring her back to life, so that she comes out of the kennel when you call her. And seeing her come out being called by my daughter would be incredibly powerful, because she didn't know Grandad. And for them to call the dog that he had as a child.
We're going to have some great fun working all this out.
Really
Thank you
appreciate
for
it.
bringing it in. It's
Thank
going to
you.
be a real magical moment.
Wonderful, thank you very much.
Thank you indeed.
Thank you.
Bye-bye for now.
Bye-bye.
Cheers, thank you, bye.
I can see Polly's got a bit of a crack along her back, so I'd like to take a look at that.
OK.
And perhaps just smarten the kennel up a little bit, but I
Yeah.
think the rest of it is all over to you. Let me know when Polly's ready
You'll
for...
be the first to know. Actually quite genius how he did this. So when you go Polly, when you do P, you are putting a large amount of air pressure into the kennel. All that air movement makes the diaphragm collapse, hit the pressure switch, bingo, Polly comes out. Fantastic, love it. So on with the screwdriver and on with the job. I'm going to remove these little bits here. The contacts have tarnished. The diaphragm, which operates by the air, may be a little bit loose, but I've got to take it apart, clean all the contacts, put that back together, and we'll get Polly to do a job again when she's called. The first thing I've got to do is get Polly carefully out, pass it over to Kirsten so that she can do her magic. Got to be very careful pulling this pin. There it is. There we go. Now, Polly, go and have a look at the real world. It's changed since you've last seen it.
Leatherwork legend Suzie is forging ahead. She's stabilising the fragile vintage wallet that once belonged to an Indian activist as he supported Gandhi and his cause.
Now the zephyr is dried, I'm just going to cover over that with this piece of thin leather. This will add a little bit of extra thickness to this damaged pocket. Just need to punch a hole where the press stud goes. Now I can glue the rest of this flap down. I think considering Gita is intending to use this, I want to make sure that I give it as much strength and durability as possible. I can now tackle the spine here where it's constantly been opening and closing, and this surface is all cracked away just through age and use. So I feel the best thing is to just cover this with a piece of leather and give it a lot of that strength back, and it's just going to hopefully blend in quite nicely. So I just got to tuck this under here, get that in position. There we go. Once it's dried, I can trim everything up and move on to tidying up these roughened edges. So this is coming along quite nicely. Once I've got all of these edges sanded down, I can then go over it with the edge stain and get it back to being that lovely glossy finished edge that it once would have had.
Look at that. That's brilliant, isn't it?
I know it looks incredibly rusty, but I just love it.
This rusty but trusty steed belongs to John Phillips from Somerset, who's hoping the barn's bike expert, Tim Gunn, can get it roadworthy again.
Hello there.
Hello.
Oh. Welcome to the barn.
Thank you.
So this is your very long bike?
It is, yes. It's two bikes, actually. Just cut the front forks.
Oh, I see.
Smacked it together.
So what made you come up with the idea of putting two bikes together?
Well, my wife and I wanted to go on holiday.
Okay.
Together, and we toyed with a cycling holiday. But if you've got two separate bikes, one person tends to be far ahead of the other. Tandems were quite expensive, and I said, well, we'll join two bikes together. And then, because it was Jubilee year, we said, well, we'll paint it red, white and blue. It was hand-painted, and the paint used was tractor paint.
Okay.
Was it really?
Yes, it was all painted on with a brush.
Whereabouts were you going on the bike?
Well, we were going to take it over to France, me and my wife, Deb. First time she got on the bike was 5 o'clock that morning.
First time ever?
Yes. Our original destination was Paris, but it was a huge downpour most of that summer. And when we got to Bayeux, and it was still raining, we decided that's where we're going to stay. And the locals loved it. They didn't know why we painted it red, white and blue. They just saw the tricolour.
Oh, right.
Yes. They were cheering us on.
Your trip to France, was that the only outing that this bike has had, or have you been on other trips?
We haven't, because the year after we had our first child. But we kept the bike. My wife sadly passed away last year. Cancer.
How long were you married for?
48 years.
Gosh.
But we've been together 50. I mean, she was incredibly brave and loved her dearly. And when she died, I then thought, well, I'll try and get this sorted. It is in a sorry state, but it brings me back a memory of her.
Yeah.
How do you see it finished?
I'd like to keep the colours, obviously red, white and blue. Would like the rust gone if possible.
Okay.
I don't just want it to be spruced up and put on a plinth.
Yeah.
I want to use it to raise money for cancer research, doing some sponsored rides. It's also cathartic for me. It's a process of helping me to come to terms with her death.
Okay.
There seems to be a lot of work to do, but you like a challenge, don't you, Tim?
I do love a challenge, and that certainly is one. It's a worthy challenge.
Well, thank you, Will. Thank you, Tim.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Thank
Okay,
you.
bye-bye.
See you soon.
Bye.
Obviously, it's been sitting around for an awful long time. There's an awful lot of rust on it. So the first things first is to get it all apart.
Tim, I saw you wheeling this awesome bike over. I had to come and have a look.
It's brilliant, isn't it? I
Look at
just
it.
would love your advice on what to do with the paintwork.
All this can be stripped and sandblasted, and we can repaint it in this same colour scheme. Take lots of pictures, measure bits, and get it exactly the same.
One of the things that John mentioned was the fact that he painted it with tractor paint. So it'd
Okay.
be quite good to use or match it as best as we can.
I've got to find some tractor paint, have I?
Yeah. Well, if that's what you originally used, that would be great to do it, I think.
Fine. Bits like this. We can even leave the little brush mark to try and put back in some of that charm that is in it now.
Okay, brilliant.
Hi, Steve.
You look mischievous.
I have a really intriguing little box. No one, as far as we know, have ever been able to open it.
Oh, my goodness. Do you think it can be opened?
That we don't know, but you seem like the person that might be able to solve the mystery.
Do you know, it'd be a great trick to have
Yeah.
a box like that you can't open.
Sort of thing you do, Steve, isn't it?
Absolutely.
I challenge you, Steve.
OK. I think it does open.
Do you? Let me know.
OK, cheers.
All right.
Yeah, maybe I'm going to have to think about this a bit further.
While Mark tussles with Polly's magic mechanism, Kirsten is setting to work on the pooch herself.
Polly is coming up really nicely. Even the crack along the back is cleaning up well. What I'd like to do is to see if I can actually take this apart. It gives me a much better opportunity to clean those break edges. I'm going to use some paint stripper. It might just loosen it enough for the two parts to come away from one another. I'm just going to wrap little dog up now. I'm hoping that it will just soften any old adhesive that might be in there.
This is the interesting part. I've got to bring out this little diaphragm, which is the switch. If I just do that, that is meant to just move in and out. That little subtle touch is enough to energise the circuit. As soon as the switch is activated, then that should drop just enough to allow the elastic band to propel Polly forward. The spring's a little bit weak, and that spring's meant to be keeping it up. So what I've got to do is re-strengthen it. That's that part taken off. Take them off there. Yeah, see, the spring actually is compressed down. So just a little bit of that will give me just that tension back again. It's as simple as that. Not rocket science, very simple. And now that'll have a little bit more tension to it when I reassemble it.
Just going to have a look and see what's happening. Oh, okay. Oh, that's amazing. So, Polly has come apart. That's brilliant. I can clean this off, clean the edges, and then get Polly back together so I get a lovely join and a really nice, clean area to fill.
Right, well, I've taken the diaphragm completely apart. I've cleaned everything, I've had to re-glue parts of it, adjust the cables, the little wires, clean everything. I'm now put it together and I'm now ready to do a test with a multimeter which will simulate when I put air pressure in there to see if the contacts close or not. To do that, I go to the front and I have to, with air, create a Polly noise. So let's have a go. It's like testing a microphone. 1, 2, 3. Polly, 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 Polly. Talking to... Polly, are you in there, Polly? I think the dog's gone deaf. Polly, yes, it works fine. Excellent.
Well, I've tried to get into this box.
Right.
And I can't, and I'm just wondering if you can.
You can't get into it.
No.
And you want me to try and get into it?
Yeah.
I'll have a go. Am I allowed to heat it?
No.
OK. Well, I feel that I could open this box by removing these hinge pins, but that's not really in the spirit of a puzzle box. I'm struggling with this, and I don't mind struggling with it because I know Steve is struggling with it as well.
Now the Indian freedom fighter's wallet is strong enough to handle, Suzie can focus on making it look as good as it feels.
One of my most favourite things in the world to do is clean leather. It just blooms and shines and looks lovely and healthy. I can actually physically see it's quite dirty in this area. So gently encourage the leather to go back to its original shape, if possible. So once I've completed the saddle soap, I can then do the conditioning, and that will help to rehydrate the leather and preserve it for the future. And then it'll be ready to give back to Gita.
This wallet was carried by Gita's father as he followed Mahatma Gandhi as part of the Indian independence movement.
Hello, Gita.
Hello.
Lovely to see you again.
Same here.
How are you feeling?
Excited, nervous. I've been thinking about it. That's why I'm a bit nervous, because I want to use it now. I really want to use it.
Mm-hmm. Well, are you ready to see it?
I am.
Okay.
Oh my God. Wow. So good. Oh, this is fixed. Wow. So good. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
I can see my dad.
Really?
I can see my dad. I can see him putting in his chest pocket, in his narrow jacket. Now I will be using it, and hopefully I will be keeping it next to my heart.
Yeah, yeah.
I want to keep their legacy going further, and I want to carry on telling people how proud I am of my parents' struggle and sacrifice for India's independence.
Yeah. Gita, this has been an absolute
Thank you
pleasure and a
very
joy.
much. Thank
Very
you.
welcome. Lovely. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. I'm full of pride. I really am full of pride, and I feel very close to my dad. I'm touching my father's hand every time I use it. I be very close to my parents, saluting them, thanking them. Every time I see this wallet now, I'll value their sacrifices and struggle. Yes, definitely. More and more.
Oh my word. Oh my word, look at that. That's not a hinge at all. That's it. Well, 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 that is amazing. I love it. Absolutely love it. It's deceived and tricked the greatest eyes of the repair shop until I got it. Oh dear.
One puzzle solved, another ongoing. Tim still has a long road ahead, taking apart the tandem.
I've got the rear wheel apart. That's the 3-speed hub gear. Actually, it's quite refreshing to see something that has come off this tandem that's actually in good condition. So I'm probably just going to service it, and that's all I'm going to do. The next stage is to dismantle the front wheel. I could spend hours and hours and hours trying to undo each of these spokes, but actually I don't need to do that because I'm replacing them anyway. These have had their life, so it's a case of just cutting each one out. There we go. As you can see here, you've got this lovely shiny stainless steel rim underneath the old paint. These are really good quality rims, and it will actually polish quite nicely. Once everything's clean, it's just a case of rebuilding the wheels with lovely coloured spokes. I think it's going to look absolutely amazing.
I did have some real concerns when Tim showed me this bike in pieces. Some of the rust was really quite bad, and sending things off to be sandblasted is always a nerve-wracking time for me. But I've got all of the pieces of John's tandem sandblasted, stripped, primed, and I'm very pleased to say structurally everything is in good condition. I've got to be honest, this is one of the easiest but also most difficult, challenging paint jobs I've ever had to do, because I know how much this paint job meant to John. Because of that, I'm going to do my absolute best to try and recreate the paint job that he did all those years ago. Oh, that is lovely. This is definitely my first time using tractor paint. This paint is kind of designed to be brushed on. And all those brush marks should sort of like float down. It should leave you with a nice smooth finish. Right, put the brush down, stop fiddling. That's it. The blue on the bars is done. I'll put those to one side, that can dry. Then I can start on the red.
I've got 40 spokes for you.
40?
40. That's the rear wheel.
40 spokes on one wheel?
Yeah.
Goodness me.
Yeah, you want to try building it.
Right, well, I better get painting.
Yeah. Good luck.
I do love some of your old tools, Tim. It's an obscure-looking machine.
It's called a geared spoke roller. It's about 120 years old.
You can't beat the old stuff, can you?
Yeah. I love using original tools.
Yeah.
Because they have such soul and history to them, and you just never know who's used them before.
Amazing.
I just love it. This is a really, really tricky wheel build. We've got 40 spokes in the wheel itself. It is quite a complicated pattern because it basically overlaps. So the next one is a blue spoke, and that goes in the opposite way. Hang on, no, that's wrong. I've done that wrong already. So red, white, and blue. So this is not getting very far here. Red, white. Red, white, blue, red, white, blue, red. I really, really love building bicycle wheels, but this one is proving to be a real fight. I'm not even halfway through the rear wheel, and I've got the other front wheel to do as well. But now I'm starting to get the correct pattern. I think it's going to look absolutely amazing.
Looking top dog once again, thanks to Kirsten, Pop-Out Polly is ready to be rehoused in her renovated kennel.
The elastic band here is the final part which makes Polly activate. What I've got to attempt now to do is put the first drawing pin to the elastic band, try to ideally centre it. That's it, like that. I think that's about there. Polly locks and loads. So that's all good. I'm happy with that. There we go. So the release mechanism's working well. I've just got to put the solder onto the cables, and then after that, Polly will be ready for the first time in decades to call her name, and she'll come out of the kennel.
This innovative little toy was made by an engineer for his son over 70 years ago. Now his great-grandson Dominic is back to reclaim the heirloom with his daughter, Hannah.
There is little Polly herself.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello there. Good to see you.
Lovely to see you.
Nice
Good,
to see
thank you.
Hannah, isn't it? Yeah?
Yes.
Yeah, and you've never seen Polly in operation or anything?
No, never seen her in
Wow.
operation. Seen her on the side, but no, never seen her move or anything like
Oh,
that.
wow.
Would you like to see her?
I'd love to, thank you. Oh, wow.
Wow. Look at the roof. She looks really shiny.
And the kennel doesn't look like it's going to fall apart, which is lovely.
So who is going to call Polly out of her kennel first?
I'd like it to be Hannah.
I think it's me.
That would be lovely.
Just emphasise Polly with a bit of oomph behind it.
Polly. Oh my days, that's amazing. Wow.
Wow, thank you so much. That's really incredible.
That's good.
Really incredible. Dad would be so chuffed, so chuffed.
It's been a real privilege to actually work on something so unique, which I'll never, ever see again. So now, if you recall, when you brought Polly in, you brought a little puzzle.
I did, yes.
To the barn. Now, all the experts had a look.
OK.
And some we thought, well, they are clever, they will know exactly what to do. Not pointing any fingers. But actually, there was one member here who actually did work it out.
No.
Yes. The smug person in the corner over there called Brenton.
Wow.
Come up with the actual solution.
So if you press the button, the lid won't open at all. It actually will stop the lid opening. You've got to twist the button, and the hinge is not a real hinge. You press it at the front.
How clever.
It's very, very clever.
Oh, cracking. Brilliant, thank you so much. That's good fun. That's amazing.
That's not what he said. Yes!
I bet. I thought that was going to beat everybody, I really did. So, no, that's amazing.
You know.
It's been a great pleasure.
Wonderful, thank you so much.
And
So
enjoy
grateful.
it.
Wonderful,
Thank you.
If Dad could see Polly now, he would be so pleased.
It feels like the beginning of a new chapter. We can take her home to my siblings, and future generations can all have a go at
Absolutely.
making Polly work.
Flying the flag for the red, white and blue, it's finally time for Tim to rebuild the tandem.
Once you start putting a bike like this back together again, you've just got to be methodical and just take things step by step. Now that we got the front forks in and the front handlebars, I can now start seeing what this bike's going to look like. And I think John, hopefully, will be really pleased with the way that it's been refinished. And I'm really looking forward to seeing what it rides like.
This homemade tandem hadn't been ridden since it took a pair of sweethearts on a summer adventure to France in 1977.
We do it, Tim? Done?
Yeah.
John is back to relive the memory, and his late wife's sister, Sally, has come to share the moment.
Hello.
Hello.
How we doing?
Good, thank you.
Good, yes.
Nice to meet you.
And you.
So how you feeling, John?
Mixed. It's a year since my wife passed away, so... And this means a lot.
Yeah.
Okay.
I want it to be cyclable. I want it to be roadworthy, because I've commandeered Sally to provide it in good shape to do a London to Brighton with me in September.
Wow.
This is quite special.
You ready to see it?
I think so.
OK, come on in, Tim.
Okay.
Oh, goodness.
That's brilliant.
That's amazing.
Crumbs.
John, look at the spokes. Red, white and blue spokes.
Oh, blimey, I don't know what to say. When I'd left it, I wasn't sure whether some of it was repairable. I wasn't sure whether the rust got through it.
The frame had to be sandblasted, and then Dom has done a fantastic paint job.
Brilliant.
It's going to be incredible riding that.
You say that now.
I can't wait. I'm looking forward to it.
So you guys have got a lot of riding to do. I think you need a little test ride, don't you?
I think we do, don't we?
Well, let's go outside and give it a go.
Okay.
All right?
Okay.
Come on in. I've got the door.
You right, Jay?
Dom, join us. Come on.
Thank you. Look at this. You been on a tandem before?
I've never been, and I'm never going to go.
Never
on
go. Yeah, good luck. Who's at the front?
You don't know
It's
yet.
got to be John, isn't it?
I tell you who'd be laughing now. Deborah be laughing now.
Here we go.
When I got back on that tandem, it did take me back riding the bike with Deb when we were both young and having a good time in France.
You must be proud, Tim. Eh? It's
Oh,
looking gorgeous.
It looks brilliant.
I think my sister would be extremely happy.
Well done. Well
Really
done.
good.
Well done.
They've done such a fantastic job that it actually not only looks amazing, but it was really lovely to ride as well.
You ready for Brighton then, yeah?
Not quite, but we'll get there.
A bit more practice, I think.
Good on you. These guys have worked really hard on it. Do you mind if they have a go?
No.
Brilliant,
that okay?
yeah.
That'd be amazing.
Right, Dom.
All right.
Come on then, Tim. Let's do
Ready?
this.
You all right?
Here we go. Okay.
Right, ready? 1, 2, 3.
Let's
Come on,
go.
Ed.
Whoa!
You all right?
That's it.
Very
Good
good.
on you, lad. Good on you.
All right.
Where are you going? It looks like you're not going to get your bike back. I think they're off to France.
Yeah, well,
Wow. Come back.